Hi again, I'm Ivy Walker, founder of Ask Coda, and I'm here with a new tip for you for Tips Tuesday. So, this week's tip number 10, is be slow to hire and fast to fire. Now, I know hiring and firing is not probably your most favorite thing to think about, but it is critical to the success of your business. And it also happens to be something that we as business owners don't tend to do very well. In this week's article, I tell a story of how I hired someone based on gut and how even when I saw problems the first week, I thought I could work through it and coach the employee. And that ended in a spectacular disaster. I had a chance to speak with Nancy Harris of Restart Consulting, who shares some really important tips, some really important ideas for business owners to consider when going through both the hiring process and making the decision that it's time to part ways with an employee. So, for example, we don't tend to do interviews well as small business owners. And so Nancy talks about taking the approach to the interview of focusing on challenge, action, and result. More of a behavioral interview as opposed to a skills interview, which can reveal some really important things about character. She also talks about being very clear about what you expect, both from a performance and a behavioral perspective, and when you see problems, making that decision that it's time to part ways as quickly as possible. There's a lot of data and research that shows that a bad hire can cost a small business a lot of money, up to $240,000. At a minimum, 30% of that individual's first year salary. So it's a cost that we end up eating unnecessarily because we're not clear, we're not focused on what we need, what we want, or we're just avoiding making that decision to part ways with that employee. We can fix some of this up front by starting with the right focus for interviews, and then we can fix it on the back end by making that decision to part ways when it's time. Nancy also points the way to some really valuable resources that can help you better structure your interviews so that you get the best candidates up front. And then you figure out if it's time to part ways, the best way to do that. So take a look at this week's article, and I hope you get something great and interesting out of it that helps you in your next hiring process. And if you unfortunately have to go through the process of terminating someone, that can help you in that process too. So I will see you again next week with a new tip. Thanks.